Oh, hello, my name's Casey Ferris. I make videos on DaVinci Resolve here on YouTube, and today we're talking about the 5 things I would tell myself if I were starting DaVinci Resolve. If I could go back in time and start Resolve again. Of course, when I started Resolve, it was a little different, but if I were starting Resolve today, these are the 5 tips I'd be like, hey, these are kind of important. And of course, the idea is that it's good for you if you're just starting Resolve. See, that's how videos work. Anyways, piece of wisdom number 1. The timeline is shared between pages. What that means is that this edit timeline here in the edit page, you can actually access this timeline from all of the pages. So I go to the cut page and it's the same timeline. I go to the color page and it's the same timeline. Fairlight, well, I don't have any audio here, but if we enable video tracks, look, same timeline. Even in Fusion, which looks like you just open one clip, if you open up the clips here, it's actually taking it directly from the same timeline. So the cool thing is that you can go back and forth without having to round trip to other programs, without having to convert your files or anything like that. You can just go do some editing, no problem. Bounce over here, do a little bit of color, and that's totally fine. Maybe go back to the cut page if you like to use that. Switch over to Fairlight, do some audio, go back to edit, and keep working on your edit. It's very fluid. And if you've ever used basically any other video editing app, that's probably not the most intuitive thing, but it's very, very convenient, and I think one of Resolve's best features. Second piece of Resolve wisdom. It's a good idea to actually learn all of the pages. I feel like a lot of people will just try and stay in the edit page because it feels comfortable, right? If you're coming from something like Premiere, it makes sense that you select something here and you adjust its properties here in the inspector. There's your effects library where you can drag titles in and do effects and things like that. I think even sometimes to the point of going over to the open effects here and trying to use some of these color effects to actually do color correction on your movie, when really it makes a lot more sense to go to the color page. That's like probably the simplest example, but the same thing with Fairlight. You can do quite a bit of audio stuff here in the edit page, but Fairlight is where you can really get complicated and do things like EQ and dynamics and effects like that. It's definitely worth at least maybe looking at a crash course on each of the pages. And this is definitely true with titles, graphics, effects, things like that. No one seems to want to jump into Fusion because, well, it's frankly kind of intimidating with the nodes thing. But I promise you, having some basic idea of how Fusion works is really worth it. Because with all of the tools combined here, like Captain Planet, like the kids on Captain Planet.
By your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
You can do so much more than you'd be able to just kind of trying to piece things together in one of the pages. So if you haven't checked out my crash course, definitely take a look at that because I go through the basics of all of the pages. It's worth considering. The next one is somewhat related. It's almost kind of the same thing, but it bears repeating. Get familiar with Fusion because it really unlocks some creative freedom here. We can look at this picture of the city, right? And let's say we want to have a title over this. Well, right now we can put some text over it in the edit page, right? And we can make a title, something like this. But if you're familiar with Fusion, you can take this up a notch without very much trouble. Say we want these words to kind of be stuck to this bridge. You could certainly limp this along in the edit page and move this back and forth, but it would be miserable and it wouldn't look very good. Whereas this really doesn't take very long to make happen in Fusion if you know a little bit about how Fusion works. We just use a planar tracker and track this back and forth, create a planar transform, and run our text through it over our footage. Boom, we're done in Fusion. And now we have our text tracked to that bridge, and it's just a really cool effect. And honestly, if you know Fusion, it takes like 2 seconds. It kind of just takes simple things up a notch just by being familiar with that page. And if you're intimidated by Fusion and you're like, gosh, how do all these nodes work? I have a really good guide on how Fusion nodes work that'll make it crystal clear. That kind of stuff will make a lot of sense. So check it out. Next piece of Resolve wisdom I would give myself if I were starting Resolve today is that the cut page is really good for some things. This is kind of one of those highly debated topics. Like some people only use the edit page and they just ignore the cut page. Some people will even hide the cut page from the interface because they just don't see a point. For me, most of the time, I'm working in the edit page because I feel like there's a lot more control over, especially the audio tracks, adding certain effects, stacking things in layers, that kind of thing. But the cut page is actually really cool for certain types of edits. The biggest thing I use it for is searching for B-roll or putting together something like a vlog. So a video kind of like this, right? You can go up to the top here, this upper left-hand corner of our viewer, and click on source tape. Source tape brings up all of the footage from your media pool in one long kind of like mini timeline here. And you can scrub through things and hit I and O on the keyboard, and then hit one of these buttons like append and throw that down into the timeline. And I've mapped a keyboard shortcut to P for append. And so we can actually go through and really quickly I-O-P, 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 really quickly make a rough cut of whatever our story is. And now we have our whole story down here in the timeline, and it took like 5 seconds. That's opposed to in the edit page, if you were gonna do that, you'd have to double click on each one and set in, out. And you can still append at end if you want to. I can hit P, but you know, you kind of have to go through each one, and it still works. It's just a little bit more awkward. And so stuff like that, searching for B-roll, making a rough cut with the cut page is just awesome. The other thing the cut page is really good for is multicam. I don't have any right this second, but you can select multiple different angles in a multicam sequence and tell those that those will sync up, and it will automatically sync them up based on audio. And you can go over to the sync bin and you can do multicam edits really easily here in the cut page. I go through this a little bit in my crash course, but that's another really great thing in the cut page. So is the cut page perfect for everything? No, but it is really nice for some things, and I definitely use it on a regular basis. Okay, fifth piece of Resolve wisdom. Get good at settings. What does that mean? Well, in the lower right-hand corner, there's this little settings cog. I would recommend opening this up and looking at everything. Even if you don't know what everything means, just taking a second to get familiar with even just where certain settings are located, right? So under master settings, under timeline format, we have the resolution of your timeline. We have the frame rate. We have stuff with video monitoring, which only has to do with if you have like an external monitor plugged in with SDI. There's stuff about optimized media and render cache, which is like what kind of proxies this makes, what kind of video will Resolve convert videos that are too hard to play back into, what resolution they'll be, the main folders on your system that it uses. And that's all just in the first page of the settings. Let me know if you guys want a video on just kind of going through all of these settings, because there is a lot to go through here, and I probably don't even know all of them right this second. But it's important to get familiar with at least kind of the basic stuff, especially before you get neck deep into some huge project. Like one little quirk of Resolve is you can't change the timeline settings once you have things in the timeline. I can change the resolution here, but I can't change the frame rate. In order to change the frame rate, I'll just delete this timeline, and I'd make a new one by right-clicking in the media pool under timelines, create new timeline. And if I uncheck use project settings, then over here in format, I can make this exactly what I want. And you generally want to do this before you start putting media into a timeline, but this will work. Let's say I want this in 30 at 720p, hit create. And now we have this timeline at 720p at 30 frames a second. So get familiar with the settings. Well, there's 5 tips for anybody who's new to Resolve. That's some stuff I would tell myself if I were starting Resolve today. If you want more videos like this, let me know. This was kind of fun, you know? It was a good time. If you stayed all the way to the end and you're listening to me right now and you like this video, well, make sure to let me know by clicking that like button so I know that you did and you do. Yeah, so that's how communication works. Let's do more of that. Let's do a little bit more of that.